Well, thank you for joining us on this first Monday of our new year, and it's a joy to be with you again on the Word of Encouragement. Today I'd like to look at the last chapter of the book of Colossians. We have looked at the example of Epaphras before and his heart to pray for the Colossian people, and that's such a blessing. But I'd like to emphasize the last part of that. I'm going to start in verse 12 of chapter 4. Epaphras, who is one of you, a servant of Christ, saluteth you, always laboring fervently for you in prayers, that ye may stand perfect and complete in all the will of God. For I bear him record that he hath a great zeal for you, and them that are in Laodicea, and them in Hierapolis. The thing that I'd like to pull out from these two verses is the fervency that Epaphras had for others. In verse 12, we have the laboring fervently in prayers for them, that ye may stand perfect. And then in verse 13, that he hath a great zeal for you. You know, in life, it's really true that when we do something just lackadaisically, it can be a labor, it can be frustrating, and we can easily become very self-focused. But when we have a cause, when we are fervent about something, everything changes. And here we see a man who, through the power of the Spirit of God, had a deep fervency for the welfare of the people, not only in the church that he started there in Colossae, but also in two other towns, Laodicea, which you're familiar with from the Revelation chapter 3, and Hierapolis. They were all in the Lysis Valley there. And he was very burdened for them and was fervently praying, and he had a great zeal. In other words, he was all about others. As I've mentioned before, he took an enormously long journey from the middle part of what is now Turkey all the way to Italy. Now you look at that, that's a major journey any way you would cut it. Obviously we can fly today, but if you were to take it by land or by sea, it would be a serious journey. And in those days, that took a lot of time. But he did it because he needed help from the Apostle Paul, because he was absolutely fervent in seeing those people go on for Christ. Friends, one of the ways to stay encouraged is to get out of ourselves. I've said it so often, but it is so true. And to live for others. And here is really the ultimate, to be fervent for others. You know, may God help us in this new year to not live for self, but to have a deep fervency to meet the needs of others.